Hare Krishna, everyone. We're just going to begin very shortly. We're going to start at 6 sharp. You made it just in time.
Do you want to start? That's okay. Do you want to start?
It's up to you.
What was the announcement? There wasn't.
Just introducing.
Just welcome and then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is okay.
And then you can announce when you want to know the rest, break and end.
Let's do a conversation. That would be more interesting.
Okay,
Let's
sure.
do a conversation.
Okay.
How do I call you?
This is the Monisha.
Yeah, Manisha.
Yeah, that's
Prabhu.
fine.
I mean, I wanted to ask because some Matajis called Prabhu.
Oh, Manisha Prabhu is fine. Yeah.
Manisha Prabhu.
Yeah,
Manisha
that's fine. Manisha Mataji, whatever you want.
Yeah. Okay. It is the same line that works.
Okay.
And who's starting with
The
it?
Bhakti Academy boys.
Okay, they're starting.
Here.
We'll keep it. We'll share the mic there.
Okay.
Let's quickly wash my hands.
Okay.
Minute or so.
Sure. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome for today's auspicious occasion of Gita Jayanti. So you can definitely have darshan, but have a quiet, quick darshan and come back and get seated because we are starting the reading of the Bhagavad Gita. Today we will read the entire Gita, shloka by shloka. So it's a beautiful opportunity to participate in this activity and purification, rather, I should say. Hare Krishna.
Can I get a copy of Bhagavad Gita just to read? Because I haven't carried mine.
Yes. We're actually going to keep this in the shlokas.
No, it's better to hold as well.
Yeah, I don't have any hard copy Bhagavad Gitas on me, but
They'll be selling them in a few minutes.
yeah.
They'll be having a table where you can purchase
So
it.
I have got like at home, you know.
Yeah.
I got,
Yeah, we don't have extra. So wait till everybody sits down and faces this way.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you so much for coming and joining us today. Once you finish darshan, we're just going to ask that you humbly come back and sit down so we can start the program. There's lots of room in the front, so those of you in the back, please come forward. There's room on the carpet. You can sit on the carpet. Gita?
How
did you want to do it?
I'll ask you questions. You ask me questions, and then we'll do it. So Hare Krishna, can everyone be seated, please? You will still get chance to have darshan wherever you're sitting. So can anyone answer what is special today? That's Gita Jayanti. Are you sure? Anyone coming to the temple for the first time? Or for the second time, or new to the temple? Anyone? Put up your hands. Okay, nice. Thank you for joining us. Oh, you're coming for the first time. Okay, who else? All right, thank you so much. So today is a really, really auspicious day. Today is Mokshada Ekadashi. So Ekadashi is very dear to Lord Krishna. Of course, it is special. But what is special about today?
So, just like he just asked, it's Gita Jayanti. Haribo! So, what is Gita Jayanti? So, over 5,000 years ago, Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita on the battlefield of Kurukshetra to Arjuna. So, do you want to say?
Yeah. So, definitely, something which was spoken 5,000 years ago, do you think it is still relevant? The message of Bhagavad Gita? Of course, it's so contradictory if I say this way. The message of Bhagavad Gita was spoken, rather sung, on the most fratricidal war set 5,000 years ago, yet it is the most sublime message. So, and of course, I think all of us are also at war most of the times. War with our senses, war with our mind, war with our spouses sometimes. No? Okay, she said, I don't have a spouse. You deal with that. Or war with our bosses. So there is definitely a war going on, and Bhagavad Gita is the solution. And today, we will get the opportunity on this auspicious occasion of the Bhagavad Gita Jayanti to read the entire Bhagavad Gita. So what's going to be the format? Okay, how many of you anyone who can tell me how many chapters are there in Bhagavad Gita? Okay, Hare Krishna, how many chapters are there in Bhagavad Gita? You're coming for the first time, you know it? Okay, how many chapters? 18? Okay, 18 chapters. So you think we will be reading 1 to 18, all the chapters? How many of you are in for that? Put up your hands and say, Hari Bol. You can't leave in between. Say one more time, Hari Bol. So are you all in to read from chapter 1 to 18? You will read, so this is this is all the Bhagavad Gita as it is. When we say as it is, this means this is coming in the disciplic succession. This is in the parampara. And Bhagavad Gita as it is, there are 500 million copies of Bhagavad Gita as it is, which has been distributed so far and translated to all the major languages of the world. And we will get the chance to read it. And if you've ever seen this Bhagavad Gita, then you know there is a shloka, there is a word-to-word transliteration, there is a purport, there's a meaning and the purport. So, Manisha Prabhu, will we be reading everything today?
So we will be reading the translation.
We will be reading the translation. So will that be in Sanskrit or in English?
Both.
Yes. Both.
We're going to go back and forth, Sanskrit and English. So we'll have the opportunity to do both.
Yes, so we'll have the opportunity to do both. We'll start with Sanskrit, then we'll move to English, and alternatively we'll do that. So from 1 to the 18th chapter, do you think we should take a break? Yes or no? My God, they are very audacious, Manisha Prabhu. We thought that they would need a break.
Wait till you get to chapter 6 or 7.
So we will get a break. We will just take 10 minutes break in the between. And rest, we will, of course, do the entire reading together. And for all of you who came right in the time before we are starting it, let's do a huge Hari Bol for everyone who was gathered here to do the entire reading. Hari Bol! Okay, look at the face right next to you, who's sitting right to you. Look at the face right to you. Now look at the face left to you. You did? So you're promising to the faces on the left and the right, hey, I'm going to stick for the entire reading of the Bhagavad Gita. Okay? Done? Promise? Promise. Okay. I did my promise to the person right next to me. I hope you did yours. Okay? So should we start?
We shall. Let's start.
Okay, we have Bhakti Academy boys and they will be starting with the first chapter. Okay, all of you have the copy of Bhagavad Gita with you. We requested everyone to bring their copy of the Gita with them. Do you have the copy of the Bhagavad Gita with you? Yes? If not, the Bhagavad Gita is also available outside at a special price, if I guess, today?
Yeah, you will be able to purchase it at the table in the hallway. If you don't have like cash or money on you, there's also going to be the shlokas displayed on the screen here. So you have an opportunity to read it from the screen here, both in English and Sanskrit. And so we're going to be starting with Sanskrit today. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. So are we ready, Prabhu? Okay. So we are ready, everyone with your Bhagavad Gita or your eyes on the screen, or you can grab the copy from outside. Let's take that pledge. Let's read all the chapters of the Bhagavad Gita on this auspicious occasion of the Gita Jayanti. Gita Jayanti ki!
Jai.
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. Okay.
That's part of schedule, right? Yeah.
Hare Krishna, everyone. So we'll be reading the invocation prayers. You can find it on page number 1, introduction. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Nama Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivashadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Srimad Bhagavad Gita Prathamodhyaya Dhritarashtra Uvacha Dharmashetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Yoyotsava Mamaka Pandava Shaiva Kimukurvata Sanjaya Sanjaya Uvacha Drishtva Tu Pandavanikam Vyudham Duryodhanastada Acharyam Upasangamya Rajavacham Abravit Pashyetam Panduputranam Acharya Mahitam Shamum व्यूढं द्रुपदपुत्रेण तव शिष्येन धीमता अत्र सुरामहेश्वास भीमार्जुना समायुधि युध्यधानो विराटश्च द्रुपदश्च महारथा दृष्टकेतु च केतान काशीराजश्च वीर्यवान् पुरुजित् कुन्तिभोजश्च शैव्यश्च नरपुङ्गवा युधामन्युश्च विक्रान्त उत्तमौजश्च वीर्यवान् सौभद्र द्रौपदेयश्च सर्व एव महारथा अस्माकं तु विशिष्टाये तन्निबोधन् विजोत्तमा नायका मम सैन्यस्य सम्नार्थं तन्त्रमविते भवान् भीष्मश्च कर्णश्च कृपश्च समितिं जय अश्वत्थामा विकर्णश्च सौमदत्तिस्तथैव च अन्ये च भवसुरा मदर्था त्यक्तजीविता नानाशस्त्रपहरणेन सर्वयुद्धविशारद अपर्याप्तं तदस्माकं बलं भीष्माभिरक्षितं पर्याप्तं त्वम् इदम् एतेषां बलं भीमाभिरक्षितम् अन्येषु च सर्वेषु यथा भागम् अवस्थिता भीष्मम् एवाभिरक्षन्तु भवन्तः सर्व एव हि तस्य सञ्जन्यं हर्षं कुरु वृद्धा पितामह सिंहनादं विधान्युच्च शङ्खं दद्मो प्रतत्भवान् ततः शङ्खेश्च भैर्यश्च पानवानकगौमुखा सहस्यैवभ्यन्यन्ता सशब्दस्तु मूलोऽभवात् ततः श्वेतैर्हरैर्युक्ते महति स्यन्दने स्थितो माधवा पाण्डवाश्चैव दिव्यशङ्खो प्रदद्मतो पञ्चजन्यं ऋषिकेशो देवदत्तं धनञ्जय पौण्ड्रं दद्मो महाशङ्खं भीमकर्मावृकोदरः अनन्तविजय राजा कुन्तिपुत्रो युधिष्ठिर नकुलो सहदेवश्च सुघोषो मणिपुष्पकौ काश्यश्च परमेश्वास शिखण्डी च महारथ धृष्टद्युम्नो विराटश्च सत्यकिश्च पराजितः द्रुपदो द्रुपदेयश्च सर्वश पृथिवीपते सौभद्रा च महाबाहु शङ्खदद्मो पृथक् पृथक् सघोषो दाष्टराणां हृदयानि व्यद्यारयत् नभश्च पृथिवीं चैव तुमुलोऽभ्यानुनन्दयते अथ व्यावस्थिता दृष्ट्वा धार्तराष्ट्रकपिध्वज पृथ्वी शास्त्रसम्पाते धनुरुद्यम पाण्डवा ऋषिकेशं तदा वाक्यम् इदम् अहमहीपते अर्जुन उवाच सेनयोरुभयोर्मध्ये रथं स्थापयमेच्युता यावदेतान्निशेहां योद्धुकामानवस्थितान् कैर्मयं सह योद्धाव्यम् अस्मिन् रणसंयुध्य मे योत्स्यमानामवेक्षेहां या एतेऽत्र समागतः धार्तराष्ट्रस्य दुर्बुद्धेर्युद्धे प्रियचिकीर्षवः
संजय उवाच एवमुक्तो ऋषिकेशो गुडाकेशेन भारत सेनयोरुभयोर्मध्ये स्थापयित्वा रथोत्तमं भीष्मद्रोणप्रमुखतः सर्वेषां च महीक्षिताम् उवाच पार्थ पश्यैतान् समवेतान् कुरुनिति तत्रापश्यत् स्थितान् पार्थ पितॄन् अथ पितामहान् आचार्यान् मातुलान् भ्रातॄन् पुत्रान् पौत्रान् सखींस्तथा श्वशुरान् सुहृदश्चैव सेनयोरुभयोरपि तान् समीक्ष्य स कौन्तेयः सर्वान् बन्धूनवस्थितान् कृपया परयाविष्टो विषीदन्निदमब्रवीत् अर्जुन उवाच दृष्ट्वेवं स्वजनं कृष्ण युयुत्सुं समुपस्थितं सीदन्ति मम गात्राणि मुखं च परिशुष्यति वेपतुश्च शरीरे मे रोमहर्षश्च जायते गाण्डीवं संसते हस्तात् त्वक्चैव परिदह्यते न च शक्नोम्यवस्थातुं भ्रमतीव च मे मनः निमित्तानि च पश्यामि विपरीतानि केशव न च श्रेयोनुपश्यामि हत्वा स्वजनमाहवे न काङ्क्षे विजयं कृष्ण न च राज्यं सुखानि च किं नो राज्येन गोविन्द किं भोगैर्जीवितेन वा येषामर्थे काङ्क्षितं नो राज्यं भोगः सुखानि च त इमे अवस्थिता युद्धे प्राणां त्यक्त्वा धनानि च आचार्यः पितरः पुत्रास्तथैव च पितामहाः मातुला श्वशुरा पौत्राः शाला सम्बन्धिनस्तथा एतान्न हन्तुमिच्छामि घ्नतोऽपि मधुसूदन अपि त्रैलोक्यराज्यस्य हेतो किं नु मही कृते निहत्य धाष्ट्रान्नः कप्रीति स्याज्जनार्दन पापमेवाश्रयेदस्मान् हत्वैतानाततायिनः तस्मान्नार्हा वयं हन्तुं धार्तराष्ट्रान् सबान्धवान् स्वजनं हि कथं हत्वा सुखिनः स्याम माधवा यद्यप्येते न पश्यन्ति लोभोपहतचेतसः कुलक्षयकृतं दोषं मित्रद्रोहे च पातकं कथं न देयमस्माभिः पापादस्मान् निवर्तितुं कुलक्षयकृतं दोषं प्रपश्यद्भिर्जनार्दन कुलक्षये प्रणश्यन्ति कुलधर्माः सनातनाः धर्मे नष्टे कुलं कृत्स्नम् अधर्मोऽभिविवत्युत अधर्माभिभवात् कृष्ण प्रदुष्यन्ति कुलस्त्रियः स्त्रीषु दुष्टाशु वार्ष्णेय जायते वर्णसङ्करः संकरो नरकायैव कुलघ्नानं कुलस्य च पतन्ति पितरो ह्येषां लुप्तपिण्डोदकक्रियाः दोषैरेतैः कुलघ्नानां वर्णसङ्करकारकैः उत्स्याद्यन्ते जातिधर्माः कुलधर्माश्च शाश्वताः उत्सन्नकुलधर्माणां मनुष्याणां जनार्दन नरके नियतं वासो भवतीत्यनुशुश्रुमा अहो बत महत्पापं कर्तुं व्यवसिता वयं यद्राज्यसुखलोभेन हन्तुं स्वजनमुद्यताः यदि मामप्रतिकारम् अशस्त्रं शस्त्रपाणयः धास्तराष्ट्रारणे हन्युस्तन्मे क्षेमतरं भवेत् संजय उवाच एवमुक्त्वार्जुनः सङ्ख्ये रथोपस्थ उपाविशत् विसृज्य सशरं चापं शोकसंविघ्नमानसः ओम तत्सदिति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुन संवादे अर्जुन विषादयोगो नाम प्रथमोऽध्यायः।
Chapter 2. Sanjaya said, seeing Arjuna full of compassion, his mind depressed, his eyes full of tears, Mahusudana Krishna spoke the following words. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, my dear Arjuna, how have these impurities come upon you? They are not at all befitting a man who knows the value of life. They lead not to higher planets, but to infamy. O son of Pritha, Do not yield to this degrading importance. It does not become you. Give up such petty weakness of heart and arise, O chastiser of the enemy. Arjuna said, O killer of enemies, or killer of Madhu, how can I counteract with arrows in battle men like Bhishma and Drona, who are worthy of my worship? It would be better to live in this world by begging than to live at the cost of the lives of great souls, who are my teachers. Even though desiring worldly gain, they are superiors. If they are killed, everything we enjoy will be tainted with blood. Nor do we know which is better, conquering them or being conquered by them. If we kill the sons of Dhritarashtra, we should not care to live. Yet they are now standing before us on the battlefield. Now I am confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of miserly weakness. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me for certain what is the best for me. Now I am your disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. I can find no means to drive away this grief, which is drying up my senses. I will not be able to dispel it even if I win a prosperous, unrivaled kingdom on earth with sovereignty like that of the demigods in heaven. Sanjaya said, having spoken thus, Arjuna, chastiser of enemies, told Krishna, Govinda, I shall not fight, and fell silent. O descendant of Bharata, at that time, Krishna, smiling in the midst of both the armies, spoke the following words to the grief-stricken Arjuna. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, while speaking learned words, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise lament neither for the living nor for the dead. Neither was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. As the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change. O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress, and their disappearance in due course, are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons. They arise from the sense perception of sin of Bharata, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. O best among men, Arjuna, the person who is not disturbed by happiness and distress, and is ready in both, is certainly eligible for liberation. Those who are seers of the truth have concluded that of the non-existent, the material body, there is no endurance, and of the eternal, the soul, there is no change. They have concluded by studying the nature of both. That which pervades the entire body you should know to be indestructible. No one is able to destroy the imperishable soul. The material body of the indestructible, immeasurable, and eternal living entity is sure to come to an end. Therefore, fight, O descendant of Bharata. Neither he who thinks the living entity the slayer, nor he who thinks it slain is a knowledge, for the self slays not nor is slain. For the soul there is neither birth nor death at any time. He has not come into being, does not come into being, and will not come into being. He is unborn, eternal, ever-existing, and primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain. O Partha, how can a person who knows that the soul is indestructible, eternal, unborn, and immutable kill anyone or cause anyone to kill? A person puts on new garments, giving up old ones. The soul similarly accepts new material bodies, giving up the old and useless ones. The soul can never be cut into pieces by any weapon, nor burned by fire, nor moistened by water, nor withered by the wind. This individual soul is unbreakable, insoluble, and can be neither burned nor dried. He is everlasting, present, everywhere, unchangeable, immovable, and eternally the same.
It is said that the soul is invisible, inconceivable, and immutable. Knowing this, you should not grieve for the body. If, however, you think that the soul or the symptoms of life will always be born and die forever, you still have no reason to lament, O mighty armed. One who has taken his birth is sure to die, and after death one is sure to take birth again. Therefore, in the unavoidable discharge of your duty, you should not lament. All created beings are unmanifest in their beginning, manifest in their interim state, and unmanifest again when annihilated. So what need is there for lamentation? Some look on the soul as amazing, some describe him as amazing, and some hear of him as amazing, while others, even after hearing about him, cannot understand him at all. O descendant of Bharata, he who dwells in a body can never be slain, therefore you need not grieve for any living being. Considering your specific duty as a Kshatriya, you should know that there is no better engagement for you than fighting on religious principles, and so there is no need for hesitation. O Partha, happy the Kshatriyas whom such fighting opportunities come unsought, opening for them the doors of the heavenly planets. If, however, you do not perform this religious duty of fighting, then you will certainly incur sins for neglecting your duties and thus lose your reputation as a fighter. People will always speak of your infamy, and for the respectable person, dishonor is worse than death. The great generals who have highly esteemed your name and fame will think that you have left the battlefield out of fear only, and thus they will consider you insignificant. Your enemies will describe you in many unkind words and scorn your ability. What could be more painful for you? O son of Kunti, either you will be killed on the battlefield and attain the heavenly planets, or you will conquer and enjoy the earthly kingdom. Therefore, get up and with determination and fight. Do thou fight for the sake of fighting, without considering happiness or distress, loss or gain, victory or defeat, and by so doing you shall never incur sin. Thus far I have described this knowledge to you through analytical study. Now listen as I explain in these terms of working without fruitive results. O son of Pritha, when you act in such knowledge, you can free yourself from the bondage of works. In this endeavor there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this planet can protect one from most dangerous type of fear. Those who are on this path are resolute in purpose, and their aim is one. O beloved child of the Kurus, the intelligence of those who are irresolute is many-branched. Men of small knowledge are very much attached to the flowery words of the Vedas, which recommend various fruity activities for elevation to heavenly planets, resultant good birth, power, and so forth. Being desirous of sense gratification and opulent life, they say that there is nothing more than this. In the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence, and who are bewildered by such things, the resolute determination for devotional service in the Supreme Lord does not take place. Which subject of three modes of material nature, O Arjuna, become transcendental to those three modes. Be free from all dualities and from all anxieties for gain and safety, and be established in the self. All purposes served by small one can one served by a great reservoir of water. Similarly, all the purposes of the Vedas can be reserved to one who knows the purpose behind them. You have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of action. Never consider yourself the cause of results of your activities, and never be attached to your doing of your duty. Perform your duty equipoised, or Arjuna, abandoning all attachment to success or failure. Such equanimity is called yoga.
O Dhananjaya, keep all abominable activities far distant by devotional service, and in that consciousness surrender unto the Lord. Those who want to enjoy the fruits of their work are still misers. A man engaged in devotional service rids himself of both good and bad actions, even in this life. Therefore, strive for yoga, which is the art of all work. By thus engaging in devotional service to the Lord, great sages or devotees free themselves from the results of work in the material world. In this way, they become free from the cycle of birth and death, and attain the state beyond all miseries by going back to Godhead. When your intelligence has passed out of the dense forest of delusion, you shall become indifferent to all that has been heard and all that is to be heard. When your mind is no longer disturbed by the flowery language of the Vedas, and when it remains fixed in the trance of self-realization, then you will have attained the divine consciousness. Arjuna said, O Krishna, what are the symptoms of one whose consciousness is thus merged into transcendence? How does he speak and what is his language? How does he sit and how does he walk? The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O Partha, when a man gives up all varieties of desire for sense gratification, which arise from mental concoction, and when his mind, thus purified, finds satisfaction in the self alone, then he is said to be in pure transcendental consciousness. One who is not disturbed in mind, even amidst the threefold miseries, or elated when there is happiness, and who is free from attachment, fear, and anger, is called a sage of steady mind. In the material world, one who is unaffected by whatever good or evil he may obtain, neither praising it nor despising it, is firmly fixed in perfect knowledge. One who is able to withdraw his senses from sense objects, as the tortoise draws its limbs within the shell, is firmly fixed in perfect consciousness. The embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, though the taste for sense objects remains. But ceasing such engagements by experiencing a higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness. The senses are so strong and impetuous, O Arjuna, that they forcibly carry away the mind even of a man of discrimination who is endeavoring to control them. One who restrains his senses, keeping them under full control, and fixes his consciousness upon me, is known as a man of steady intelligence. While contemplating the objects of the senses, a person develops attachment for them, and from such attachment, lust develops, and from lust, anger arises. From anger, complete delusion arises, and from delusion, bewilderment of memory. When memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost, and when intelligence is lost, one falls down again into the material pool. But a person free from all attachment and aversion and able to control his senses through regulative principles of freedom can obtain the complete mercy of the Lord. For one thus satisfied in Krishna consciousness, the threefold miseries of material existence exist no longer. In such satisfied consciousness, one's intelligence is soon well established. One who is not connected with the Supreme in Krishna consciousness can have neither transcendental intelligence nor a steady mind, without which there is no possibility of peace. And how can there be any happiness without peace? As a strong wind sweeps away a boat on the water, even one of the roaming senses on which the mind focuses can carry away a man's intelligence. Therefore, O mighty armed, one whose senses are restrained from their objects is certainly of steady intelligence. What is night for all beings in the time of awakening for the self-controlled? And the time of awakening for all beings is night for the introspective sage. A person who is not disturbed by the incessant flow of desires that enter like rivers into the ocean, which is ever being filled but is always still, can alone achieve peace, and not the man who strives to satisfy such desires. A person who has given up all desires for sense gratification, who lives free from desires, who has given up all senses of proprietorship and is devoid of false ego, he alone can attain real peace. That is the way of the spiritual and godly life, after attaining which a man is not bewildered. If one is thus situated even at the hour of death, one can enter into the kingdom of God.
तृतीयोऽध्यायः कर्मयोगः अर्जुन उवाच जयासि चेत् कर्मणस्ते मता बुद्धिजनार्दन तत् किं कर्मणि घोरे मां नियोजसि केशव व्यामिषेणेव्याकेन बुद्धिमोहयसि मे तदेकं वद निश्चिते येन श्रेयोऽहमाप्नुयाम् श्रीभगवान् उवाच लोके अस्मिन् द्विविधा निष्ठा पुरा प्रोक्ता मया नघ ज्ञानयोगेन साङ्ख्यानां कर्मयोगेन योगिनां न कर्मान्मनारम्भान् नैष्कर्मण्यं पुरुषोऽश्नुते न च न्यसनादेव सिद्धिं समधिगच्छति न हि कश्चित् क्षणम् अपि जातु तिष्ठे करं कृत कारते हैवश कर्म सर्वा प्राकृतिर्जे गुणां कर्मेन्द्रियाणि संयम्य य आस्ते मनसा स्मरन् इंद्रिया अर्थान् विमूढात्मा मिथ्याचार स उच्यते यस्तव इंद्रियाणि मनसा नियामयारम्भते अर्जुन कर्म इंद्रिय कर्मयोगम् असक्तः स वशिष्यते नित्यं कुरु कर्म त्वं कर्म ज्यायो है कर्मणा शरीरयात्रा अपि च ते न प्रसिद्धेदहेत् कर्मणम् यज्ञार्थ कर्मणो यत्र लोको अयं कर्मबन्धनां तदर्थं कर्म कौन्तेया मुक्तसङ्गा समाचरा सह यज्ञा प्रजा सृष्ट्वा पुरा वाच प्रजापति अनेन प्रस्विष्येधवन्मेष यो सतविष्ट कामधो देवान् भावयतानेन ते देवा भावयन्तु वा परस्परं भावयन्तः श्रेया परमवाप्स्यथ इष्टान् भोगान् हि वो देवा दास्यन्ते यज्ञभाविता तेर्दत्तान् प्रदाये भयो यो भुङ्क्ते सेव एव स यज्ञशिष्टाशिना सन्तो मुञ्चते सर्वकिल्बिषे भुञ्जते तेवगं पापा ये पचन्ते आत्मकारणात् अनाद्भवन्ति भूतानि प्रजन्याद्भवसम्भवा यज्ञाद्भवन्ति प्रजन्यो यज्ञकर्म समुद्रभवम् कर्म ब्रह्मोद्भवं विद्धि ब्रह्मा अक्षरसमुद्रभवं तस्मात् सर्वगतं ब्रह्म नित्यं यज्ञे प्रतिष्ठितम् एवं परिवर्तितं चक्रं ननुन्वर्तयसि यः अगाधूर इन्द्रियारामो मोघं पार्थ स जीवति यस्त्वात् अमृतिरेव स्याद् आत्मत्रिपतश्च मानवा आत्मन एव च सन्तुष्टस्य कार्यं तस्य कार्यं न विद्यते नेव तस्य कृतनार्थो न कृतिनिः कश्चन न चास्य सर्वभूतेषु कचि अर्थव्यापृश्य तस्माद् सक्तः सतं कार्यं कर्म समाचर असक्तो हयाचरणं कर्म परमाप्नोति पुरुषः कर्मं हि संसिद्धिम् आश्रिता जनकादय लोकसङ्ग्रहमेवापि सम्पश्य कर्तुम् अर्हसि यद् यथाचरति श्रेष्ठ तद् तदेवेतरो जना यस्प्रसादं कृते लोकस्तद् अनुवर्तते.
न मे पार्थास्ति कर्तव्यं त्रिषु लोकेषु किंचन नानवाप्तम् अवाप्तव्यं वर्त एव च कर्मणि यदि अहं न वर्तेयं जातु कर्मण्य अतन्द्रितः मम वर्तमानुवर्तन्ते मनुष्याः पार्थ सर्वशः उत्सीदेयुरिमे लोका न कुर्यां कर्म चेदहं शङ्करस्य च कर्ता स्याम् उपहन्याम् इमाः प्रजाः सक्ताः कर्मण अविद्वांसो यथा कुर्वन्ति भारत कुर्याद् विद्वांस तथा सक्तश्चिकीर्षुर्लोकसङ्ग्रहं न बुद्धिभेदं जनयेद् अज्ञानं कर्मसङ्गिनां जोषयेत् सर्वकर्माणि विद्वान् युक्तः समाचरन् प्रकृतेः क्रियमाणानि गुणैः कर्माणि सर्वशः अहङ्कार विमूढात्मा कर्ताहम् इति मन्यते तत्त्ववित्तु महाबाहो गुणकर्म विभागयोः गुणागुणेषु वर्तन्त इति मत्वा न सज्जते प्रकृतेर्गुणसमुद्धाः सज्जन्ते गुणकर्मसु तान् कृत्स्नविदो मन्दान् कृत्स्नविन्न विचालयेत् मयि सर्वाणि कर्माणि सन्न्यास्याध्यात्मचेतसा निराशीर्निर्ममो भूत्वा युध्यस्व विगतज्वरः ये मे मतम् इदं नित्यम् अनुतिष्ठन्ति मानवाः श्रद्धावन्तो अनुसूयन्तो मुच्यन्ते ते अपि कर्मभिः ये त्वेतद् अभ्यसूयन्तो नानुतिष्ठन्ति मे मतं सर्वज्ञानविमूढांस्तान् विद्धि नष्टान् अचेतसः सदृशं चेष्टते स्वस्याः प्रकृतेर्ज्ञानवानपि प्रकृतिं यान्ति भूतानि निग्रह किं करिष्यति इन्द्रियास्येन्द्रियास्यार्थे रागद्वेषौ व्यवस्थितौ तयोर्न वशम् आगच्छेत् तौ हि अस्य परिपन्थिनौ श्रेयान् स्वधर्मो विगुणः परधर्मात् स्वनुष्ठितात् स्वधर्मे निधनं श्रेयः परधर्मो भयावह. अर्जुन उवाच अथ केन प्रयुक्तोऽयं पापं चरति पुरुषः अनिच्छनपि वार्ष्णेय बलाद् इव नियोजितः. श्रीभगवानुवाच काम एष क्रोध एष रजोगुणसमुद्भवः महाशनो महापाप्मा विद्य एनम् इह वैरिणम् धूमेनाव्रियते वह्निर्यथादर्शो मलेन च यतोल्बेनावृतो गर्भस्तथा तेनेदमावृतम् आवृतं ज्ञानम् एतेन ज्ञानिनो नित्यवैरिणा कामरूपेण कौन्तेय दुष्पूरेण नलेन च इन्द्रियाणि मनोबुद्धिरस्याधिष्ठानम् उच्यते एतैर्विमोहयत्येष ज्ञानम् आवृत्य देहिनम् तस्मात् त्वम् इन्द्रियाण्यादौ नियम्य भरतऋषभ पापमानं प्रजहि एनं ज्ञानविज्ञाननाशनम् इन्द्रियाणि परण्याहुरिन्द्रियेभ्यः परं मनः मनसस्तु परा बुद्धिर्यो बुद्धेः परतस्तु सः एवं बुद्धेः परं बुद्ध्वा संस्थाभ्यात्मानमात्मना जहि शत्रुं महाबाहो कामरूपं दुरासदम्. ओम तत्सत् इति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्ण अर्जुन संवादे कर्मयोगो नाम तृतीयो अध्यायः.
Chapter 4, Transcendental Knowledge. The personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna said, I instructed this imperishable science of yoga to the sun god Vivaswan, and Vivaswan instructed it to Manu, the father of mankind, and Manu in turn instructed it to Ikshvaku. This supreme science was thus received through the chain of disciplic succession, and the saintly kings understood it in that way. But in the course of time the succession was broken, and therefore the science as it appears to be lost. That very ancient science of the relationship with the Supreme is today told by me to you, because you are my devotee as well as my friend, and can therefore understand the transcendental mystery of this science. Arjuna said, the sun god Vivaswan is senior by birth to you. How am I to understand that in the beginning you instructed the science to him? The personality of Godhead said, many births both you and I have passed. I can remember all of them, but you cannot, O subduer of the enemy. Although I am unborn and my transcendental body never deteriorates, and although I am the Lord of all living entities, I still appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharata, and a predominant rise of irreligion, and at that time I descend myself, to deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion. I myself appear, millennium after millennium. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. Being freed from attachment, fear, and anger, being fully absorbed in me and taking refuge in me, many persons in the pre-past have become purified by knowledge of me, and thus they have attained transcendental love for me. As all under surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Pritha. Men in this world desire success in fruitive activities, and therefore they worship the demigods. Quickly, of course, men get results from fruitive work in this world. According to the three modes of material nature and the work associated with them, the four divisions of human society are created by me, and although I am the creator of this system, you should know that I am yet the non-doer, being unchangeable. There is no work that affects me, nor do I aspire for the fruits of action. One who understands this truth about me also does not become entangled in the fruitive reactions of work. All the liberated souls in ancient times acted with this understanding of my transcendental nature. Therefore you should perform your duty following in their footsteps. Even the intelligent are bewildered in determining what is action and what is inaction. Now I shall explain to you what action is, knowing which you shall be liberated from all misfortune. The intricacies of action are very hard to understand. Therefore one should properly know what action is, what forbidden action is, and what inaction is. One who sees inaction in action and action in inaction is intelligent among men, and he is in the transcendental position, although engaged in all sorts of activities. One is understood to be in full knowledge, whose every endeavor is devoid of desire for sense gratification. He is said by sages to be a worker for whom the reactions of work have been burned up by the fire of perfect knowledge. Abandoning all attachment to the results of his activities, ever satisfied and independent, he performs no fruitive action, although engaged in all kinds of undertakings. Such a man of understanding acts with mind and intelligence perfectly controlled, gives up all sense of proprietorship over his possessions, and acts only for the bare necessities of life. Thus working, he is not affected by sinful reactions. He who is satisfied with gain which comes of his own accord, who is free from duality and does not envy, who is steady in both success and failure, is never entangled, although performing actions.
The work of a man who is unattached to the modes of material nature and who is fully situated in transcendental knowledge merges entirely into transcendence. A person who is fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness is sure to attain the spiritual kingdom because of his full contribution to spiritual activities, in which the consummation is absolute and that which is offered of the same of the spiritual nature. Some of yogis perfectly worship the demigods by offering different sacrifices to them, and some offer sacrifices in the fire of the Supreme Brahman. Some, the unadulterated brahmacharis, sacrifice the hearing process and the senses in the fire of mental control, and others, the regulated householders, sacrifice the objects of the senses in the fire of the senses. Others, who are interested in achieving self-realization through control of the mind and senses, offer the functions of all the senses and of the life breath as oblations into the fire of the controlled mind. Having accepted strict vows, some become enlightened by sacrificing their possessions, and others by performing severe austerities, by practicing the yoga of eightfold mysticism, or by studying the Vedas to advance in transcendental knowledge. Still others, who are inclined to the process of breath restraint to remain in trance, practice by offering the movement of the outgoing breath into the incoming, and the incoming breath into the outgoing, and thus at last remain in trance, stopping all breathing. Others, curtailing the eating process, offer the outgoing breath into itself as a sacrifice. All these performers who know the meaning of sacrifice become cleansed of sinful reactions, and having tasted the nectar of the results of sacrifices, they advance towards the supreme eternal atmosphere. O best of the Kuru dynasty, without sacrifice one can never live happily on this planet, nor in this life, what then of next life? All these different types of sacrifices are approved by the Vedas, and all of them are born of different types of work. Knowing them as such, you will become liberated. O chastiser of the enemy, the sacrifice performed in knowledge is better than the mere sacrifice of material possessions. After all, O son of Pritha, all sacrifices of work culminate in transcendental knowledge. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master, inquire from him submissively, and render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. Having obtained real knowledge from the self-realized soul, you will never fall again into such illusion, for by this knowledge you will see that all the living beings are but part of the Supreme, or in other words, they are mine. Even if you are considered to be the most sinful of all sinners, when you are situated in the boat of transcendental knowledge, you will be able to cross over the ocean of miseries. As a blazing fire turns firewood to ashes, O Arjuna, so does the fire of knowledge burn to ashes all reactions to material activities. In this world, there is nothing so sublime and pure as transcendental knowledge. Such knowledge is the mature fruit of all mysticism, and one who has become accomplished in the practice of devotional service enjoys this knowledge within himself in due course of time. A faithful man who is dedicated to transcendental knowledge and who subdues his senses is eligible to achieve such knowledge, and having achieved it, he quickly attains the supreme spiritual peace. But ignorant and faithless persons who doubt the revealed scriptures do not attain God consciousness. They fall down. For the doubting soul there is happiness neither in this world nor in the next. One who acts in devotional service, renouncing the fruits of his action, and whose doubts have been destroyed by transcendental knowledge, is situated factually in the self. Thus he is not bound by the reactions of work, O conqueror of riches. Therefore, the doubts which have arisen in your heart out of ignorance should be slashed by the weapon of knowledge. Armed with yoga, O Bharata, stand and fight.
अतः पञ्चमोऽध्यायः कर्मयोगः अर्जुन उवाच सन्न्यासं कर्मणां कृष्ण पुनर्योगं च शंससि यच्छ्रेययेतयोरेकं तन्मे ब्रूहि सुनिश्चितं श्रीभगवानुवाच सन्न्यासः कर्मयोगश्च निःश्रेयसकरावुभौ तयोस्तु कर्मसन्न्यासात् कर्मयोगो विशिष्यते ज्ञेयः स नित्यसन्न्यासी यो न द्वेष्टि न काङ्क्षति निर्द्वन्द्वो हि महाबाहो सुखं बध्नात् प्रमुच्यते सांख्ययोगौ पृथग् बालाः प्रवदन्ति न पण्डिताः एकम् अप्यास्थितः सम्यग् उभयोर्विन्दते फलं यत् सांख्यै प्राप्यते स्थानं तद्योगैरपि गम्यते एकं सांख्यं च योगं च यः पश्यति स पश्यति सन्न्यासस्तु महाबाहो दुःखम् आप्तुम् अयोगतः योगयुक्तो मुनिर्ब्रह्म न चिरेणाधिगच्छति योगयुक्तो विशुद्धात्मा विजितात्मा जितेन्द्रियः सर्वभूतात्मभूतात्मा कुर्वन्नपि न लिप्यते नैव किञ्चित् करोमीति युक्तो मन्येत तत्त्ववित् पश्यन् शृण्वन् स्पृशन् जिघ्रन् अश्नन् गच्छन् स्वपन् श्वसन् प्रलपन् विसृजन् गृह्णन् उन्मिषन् निमिषन् अपि इन्द्रियाणीन्द्रियार्थेषु वर्तन्त इति धारयन् ब्रह्मण्याध्याय कर्माणि सङ्गं त्यक्त्वा करोति यः लिप्यते न स पापेन पद्मपत्रम् इवाम्भसा कायेन मनसा बुद्ध्या केवलैरिन्द्रियैरपि योगिनः कर्म कुर्वन्ति सङ्गं त्यक्त्वात्मशुद्धये युक्तः कर्मफलं त्यक्त्वा शान्तिमाप्नोति नैष्टिकीम् अयुक्तः कामकारेण फले शक्तो निबध्यते सर्वकर्माणि मनसा सन्न्यस्यास्ते सुखं वशी नवद्वारे पुरे देहि नैव कुर्वन्न कारयन् न कर्तृत्वं न कर्माणि लोकस्य सृजति प्रभुः न कर्मफलसंयोगं स्वभावस्तु प्रवर्तते नादत्ते कस्यचित् पापं न चैव सुकृतं विभुः अज्ञानेन वृतं ज्ञानं तेन मुह्यन्ति जन्तवः ज्ञानेन तु अज्ञानं येषां नाशितमात्मनः तेषाम् आदित्यवज्ञानं प्रकाशयस्तत्परं तद्बुद्धयस्तदात्मानस्तन्निष्ठास्तत्परायणाः गच्छन्त्यापुनरावृत्तिं ज्ञाननिर्धूतकल्मषाः विद्याविनयसम्पन्ने ब्राह्मणे गविहस्तिनि शुनी चैव स्वपाके च पण्डिताः समदर्शिनः इहैव तैर्जितः सर्गो येषां साम्ये स्थितं मनः निर्दोषं हि समं ब्रह्म तस्माद् ब्रह्मणि ते स्थिताः न प्रहृष्येत् प्रियं प्राप्य नोद्विजेत् प्राप्य चाप्रियं स्थिरबुद्धिरसम्मूढो ब्रह्मविद् ब्रह्मणि स्थितः बाह्यस्पर्शे स्वसक्तात्मा विन्द आत्मनि यत्सुखं स ब्रह्मयोगयुक्तात्मा सुखम् अक्षयमश्नुते ये हि संस्पर्शजा भोगा दुःखयोनय एव ते आद्यन्तवन्तः कौन्तेय न तेषु रमते बुधः शक्तोतीहैव यः सोढुं प्राक्शरीरविमोक्षणात् कामक्रोधोद्भवं वेगं स युक्तः स सुखी नरः योऽन्तः सुखोऽन्तर् आरामस्तथान्तर्ज्योतिरेव यः स योगी ब्रह्मनिर्वाणं ब्रह्मभूतोऽधिगच्छति लभन्ते ब्रह्मनिर्वाणं ऋषयः क्षीणकल्मषाः छिन्नद्वैधायतात्मानः सर्वभूतहिते रताः कामक्रोधविमुक्तानां यतीनां यत्तचेतसाम् अभितो ब्रह्मनिर्वाणं वर्धते विदितात्मनाम् स्पर्शान् कृत्वा बहिर्बाह्यांश्चक्षुश्चैवान्तरे भ्रुवोः प्राणापानौ समः कृत्वा नासाभ्यन्तरचारिणौ यतेन्द्रियमनोबुद्धिर्मुनिर्मोक्षपरायणः विगतेच्छाभयक्रोधो यः सदा मुक्त एव सः भोक्तारं यज्ञतपसां सर्वलोकमहेश्वरं सुहृदं सर्वभूतानां ज्ञात्वा मां शान्तिमृच्छति ॐ तत्सदिति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासूपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे कर्मयोगो नाम पञ्चमोऽध्यायः।
Chapter 6, Jnana Yoga. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "One who is unattached to the fruits of his work and who works as he is obligated is in the renounced order of life, and he is the true mystic, not he who lights no fire and performs no duty." What is called renunciation, you should know to be the same as yoga, or linking oneself to the Supreme, O son of Pandu, for one can never become yogi unless he renounces the desire for sense gratification. For one who is the neophyte in the Eightfold Yoga system, work is said to be the means, and for one who is already elevated in yoga, cessation of all material activities is said to be the means. A person is said to be elevated in yoga when, having renounced all material desires, he neither acts for sense gratification nor engages in fruitive activities. One must deliver himself with the help of his mind and not degrade himself. The mind is the friend of the conditioned soul and his enemy as well. For him who has conquered the mind is the best of friends. But for one who has failed to do so, his mind will remain the greatest enemy. For one who has conquered the mind, the super soul is already reached, for he has attained tranquility. To such a man, happiness and distress, heat and cold, honor and dishonor are all the same. A person is said to be established in self-realization and is called a yogi or mystic when he is fully satisfied by virtue of acquired knowledge and realization. Such a person is situated in transcendence and is self-controlled. He sees everything, whether it be pebbles, stones, or gold, as the same. A person is considered still further advanced when he regards honest well-wishers, affectionate benefactors, the neutral, mediators, the envious, friends and enemies, the pious and sinners, all with an equal mind. A transcendentalist should always engage his body, mind, and self in relationship with the Supreme. He should live alone in a secluded place and should always carefully control his mind. He should be free from desires and feelings of possessiveness. To practice yoga, one should go to a secluded place and should lay kusha grass on the ground and then cover it with a deer skin and a soft cloth. The seat should be neither too high nor too low and should be situated in a sacred place. The yogi should then sit on it very firmly and practice yoga to purify the heart by controlling his mind, senses, and activities and fixing the mind on one point. One should hold one's body, neck, and head erect in a straight line and stare steadily at the tip of the nose. Thus, with an
agitated, subdued mind, devoid of fear, completely free from sex life. One should meditate upon me within the heart and make me the ultimate goal of life. Thus, practicing constant control of the body, mind, and activities, the mystic transcendentalist, his mind regulated, attains to the kingdom of God or the abode of Krishna by cessation of material existence. There is no possibility of one becoming a yogi. O Arjuna, if one eats too much or eats too little, sleeps too much or does not sleep enough, he who is regulated in the habits of eating, sleeping, recreation, and work can mitigate all material pains by practicing the yoga system. When the yogi, by practice of yoga, disciplines his mental activities and becomes situated and transcendence, devoid of all material desires, he is said to be well established in yoga. As a lamp in a windless place does not waver, so the transcendentalist, whose mind is controlled, remains always steady in the meditation of the transcendent self. In the stage of perfection called trance or samadhi, one's mind is completely restrained from material mental activities by practice of yoga. This perfection is characterized by one's ability to see the self by the pure mind and to relish and rejoice in the self. In that joyous state, one is situated in boundless transcendental happiness realized through transcendental senses. Established thus, one never departs from the truth, and upon gaining this, he thinks there is no greater gain. Being situated in such a position, one is never shaken, even in the midst of greatest difficulty. This indeed is actual freedom from all miseries arising from material contact.
One should engage oneself in the practice of yoga with determination and faith and not be deviated from the path. One should abandon, without exception, all material desires born of mental speculation and thus control all the senses on all sides by the mind. Gradually, step by step, one should become situated in trance by means of intelligence sustained by full conviction, and thus the mind should be fixed on the self alone and should think of nothing else. From wherever the mind wanders due to its flickering and unsteady nature, one must certainly withdraw it and bring it back under the control of the self. The yogi whose mind is fixed on me verily attains the highest perfection of transcendental happiness. He is beyond the mode of passion. He realizes his qualitative identity with the Supreme, and thus he is freed from all reactions to past deeds. Thus, the self-controlled yogi, constantly engaged in yoga practice, becomes free from all material contamination and achieves the highest perfection of perfect happiness in transcendental loving service to the Lord. A true yogi observes me in all beings and also sees every being in me. Indeed, the self-realized person sees me, the same Supreme Lord, everywhere. For one who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me, I am never lost, nor is he ever lost to me. Such a yogi who engages in the worshipful service of the Supersoul, knowing that I and the Supersoul are one, remains always in me in all circumstances. He is a perfect yogi who, by comparison to his one self, sees the true equality of all beings in both the happiness and their distress, O Arjuna. Arjuna said, O Madhusudana, the system of yoga which you have summarized appears impractical and unendurable to me, for the mind is restless and unsteady. For the mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate, and very strong, O Krishna, and to subdue it, I think, is more difficult than controlling the wind. Lord Shri Krishna said, O mighty armed son of Kunti, it is undoubtedly very difficult to curb the restless mind, but it is possible by suitable practice and by detachment. For one whose mind is unbridled, self-realization is difficult work, but he whose mind is controlled and who strives by appropriate means is assured of success. That is my opinion. Arjuna said, "O Krishna, what is the destination of unsuccessful transcendentalist who in the beginning takes the process of self-realization with faith, but who later desists due to worldly mindedness and thus who does not attain perfection in mysticism? O mighty arm Krishna, does not such a man who is bewildered from the path of transcendence fall away from both spiritual and material success and perish like a riven cloud with no position in any sphere? This is my doubt, O Krishna, and I ask you to dispel it completely. But for you, no one is to be found who can destroy this doubt." The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Son of Pratha, a transcendentalist engaged in auspicious activities does not meet the destruction either in this world or in the spiritual world. One who does good, my friend, is never overcome by evil." The unsuccessful yogi, after many, many years of enjoyment on the planets of the pious living entities, is born into a family of the righteous people or into a family of rich aristocracy. Or, if unsuccessful after long practice of yoga, he takes his birth in a family of transcendentalists who are surely great in wisdom. Certainly such a birth is rare in this world. On taking such a birth, he revives the divine consciousness of his previous life, and he gains strides to make further progress in order to achieve complete success, O son of Guru. By virtue of the divine consciousness of his previous life, he automatically becomes attracted to the yogic principles. Even without seeking them, such an inquisitive transcendentalist stands always above the ritualistic principles of the scriptures. And when the yogi engages himself with sincere endeavor in making further progress, being washed of all contamination, then ultimately achieving perfection after many, many births of practice, he attains the supreme goal. A yogi is greater than the ascent, greater than the empirist, and greater than the fruitive worker. Therefore, O Arjuna, in all circumstances be a yogi. And of all yogis, the one with great faith who always abides in me, thinks of me within himself, and renders transcendental loving service to me, he is the most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. That is my opinion.
अतः सप्तमोऽध्यायः ज्ञानविज्ञानयोगः श्रीभगवानुवाच
मय्यासक्तमनः पार्थ योगं युञ्जन्मदाश्रयः असंशयं समग्रं मां यथा ज्ञास्यसि तच्छृणु ज्ञानं तेऽहं सविज्ञानम् इदं वक्ष्याम्यशेषतः यज्ञात्वा नेह भूयोऽन्यज् ज्ञातव्यमवशिष्यते मनुष्याणां सहस्रेषु कश्चिद् यतति सिद्धये यततामपि सिद्धानां कश्चिन्मां वेत्ति तत्त्वतः भूमिरापो नलो वायुः खं मनो बुद्धिरेव च अहङ्कार इतीयं मे भिन्ना प्रकृतिरष्टधा अपरेयमितस्त्वन्यां प्रकृतिं विद्धि मे परां जीवभूतां महाबाहो ययेदं धार्यते जगत् एतद्योनीनि भूतानि सर्वाणीत्युपधारय अहं कृत्स्नस्य जगतः प्रभवः प्रलयस्तथा मत्तः परतरं नान्यत् किञ्चिदस्ति धनञ्जय मयि सर्वमिदं प्रोतं सूत्रे मणिगणा इव रसोऽहमप्सु कौन्तेय प्रभास्मि शशिसूर्ययोः प्रणवः सर्ववेदेषु शब्दः खे पौरुषं नृषु पुण्यो गन्धः पृथिव्यां च तेजश्चास्मि विभावसौ जीवनं सर्वभूतेषु तपश्चास्मि तपस्विषु बीजं मां सर्वभूतानां विद्धि पार्थ सनातनं बुद्धिर्बुद्धिमतामस्मि तेजस्तेजस्विनामहं बलं बलवतां चाहं कामरागविवर्जितं धर्माविरुद्धो भूतेषु कामोऽस्मि भरतर्षभा ये चैव सात्विका भावा राजसास्तामसाश्च ये मत्त एवेति तान् विद्धि न त्वहं तेषु ते मयि त्रिभिर्गुणमयैर्भावैरेभिः सर्वमिदं जगत् मोहितं नाभिजानाति मामेभ्यः परमव्ययम् दैवी ह्येषा गुणमयी मम माया दुरत्यया मामेव ये प्रपद्यन्ते मायामेतां तरन्ति ते न मां दुष्कृतिनो मूढाः प्रपद्यन्ते नराधमाः माययापहृतज्ञाना आसुरं भावमाश्रिताः चतुर्विधा भजन्ते मां जनाः सुकृतिनोऽर्जुन आर्तो जिज्ञासुरर्थार्थी ज्ञानी च भरतर्षभा तेषां ज्ञानी नित्ययुक्ता एकभक्तिर्विशिष्यते प्रियो हि ज्ञानिनोत्यर्थम् अहं स च मम प्रियः उदाराः सर्व एवैते ज्ञानी त्वात्मैव मे मताम् आस्थितः स हि युक्तात्मा मामेवानुत्तमां गतिम् बहूनां जन्मनामन्ते ज्ञानवान् मां प्रपद्यते वासुदेवः सर्वमिति स महात्मा सुदुर्लभः कामैस्तैस्ते हृतज्ञानाः प्रपद्यन्तेऽन्यदेवताः तं तं नियममास्थाय प्रकृत्या नियता स्वया यो यो यां यां तनुं भक्तः श्रद्धयार्चितुमिच्छति तस्य तस्याचलां श्रद्धां तामेव विददाम्यहम् सतया श्रद्धया युक्तस्तस्याराधनमीहते लभते च ततः कामान् मयैव विहितान् हितान् अन्तवत्तु फलं तेषां तद्भवत्यल्पमेधसाम् देवान् देवयजो यान्ति मद्भक्ता यान्ति मामपि अव्यक्तं व्यक्तिमापन्नं मन्यन्ते मामबुद्धयः परं भावमजानन्तो ममाव्ययमनुत्तमम् नाहं प्रकाशः सर्वस्य योगमाया समावृतः मूढोऽयं नाभिजानाति लोको मामजमव्ययम् वेदाहं समतीतानि वर्तमानानि चार्जुन भविष्यानि च भूतानि मां तु वेद न कश्चन इच्छाद्वेषसमुत्थेन द्वन्द्वमोहेन भारत सर्वभूतानि सम्मोहं सर्गे यान्ति परन्तप येषां त्वन्तगतं पापं जनानां पुण्यकर्मणां ते द्वन्द्वमोहनिर्मुक्ता भजन्ते मां दृढव्रताः जरामरणमोक्षाय मामाश्रित्य यतन्ति ये ते ब्रह्म तद्विदुः कृत्स्नम् अध्यात्मं कर्म चाखिलम् साधिभूतादिदैवं मां साधियज्ञं च ये विदुः प्रयाणकालेऽपि च मां ते विदुर्युक्तचेतसः ॐ तत्सदिति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे ज्ञानविज्ञानयोगो नाम सप्तमोऽध्यायः।
Hi Krishna everyone. So how's everyone doing? Look at your right and your left. Your partners are still here? Yes, everyone's still here? We still have some energy. Okay, we'll just break for 5 minutes. We have some tea there and some little snacks, so you can have them and come back, but we're just given 5 minutes. Would that be okay? 5 minutes? Is there something else prior to that? No, right? Okay, just 5 minutes. Hare Krishna. Vishwamba Kripa Prabhu? Hi Krishna. So can I request everyone to fasten up? And we have a special video that we'll be showing you in another 1 minute. So everyone, please come back. It's not a full prasadam break. It's just a 5 minutes break, which has already been extended for another 2 minutes. Hi Krishna. So is the video ready? Can we play the video please so that at least the devotees can see the video? Okay, silence everyone please.
Searching for meaning.
The cord's not long enough. You can try it.
Can we go there? Is it live or we have downloaded it?
No, it's live. Yeah, the cord's over there though.
No, but even you should download it. How it's going to keep stopping.
Yeah, I mean, this is how we did it on Sunday.
Okay, then.
So Hare Krishna. 5,000 years ago on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, I'm sure there was no technical glitches, but we are in a different time and age. And Maharaj, you would know, at this time and age, we have a lot of battles to fight within and outside. So I just have a minute before they're doing it, and I'm going to hand over the mic to you to say a few words.
Welcome, everyone. It's so nice to be here with you in such a, let's say, protected space, very safe space, when going over the dialogue of God and the living entity. So these are talks between God and the poor soul. It's great. And, it is a very special time of the year. It's time for giving. So please share the wisdom, share whatever you've got out of this reading and the message, and just get it out to people. There's a great need at this particular time. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed the snacks. And after the snack, then we'll get back.
Thank you, Maharaj. So we need a few volunteers who can help us pack up prasadam, because at the end, we'll just distribute the boxes of prasadam. So if you want to volunteer for that, please come at this side. And is the video ready now? Okay, sounds good.
For purpose throughout, so many doubts, yeah. Strolling down Wall Street, they walk through the world, searching for meaning. For purpose throughout, so many doubts, yeah. Strolling down Wall Street, caught in the chase, Chasing the cash but missing the grace. Feeling the pressure, losing their way. Stumbling through life, never enough day after day. Then comes her hand with the Gita so bright. The spark of renewal, igniting the light. Live together. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna so merciful, His words are here to stay, uplift us every day. In the Gita, true wisdom unfolds, so many answers that transform our soul. Quelling the heartache, clearing the mind, changing our world from mundane to divine. Then comes her hand with the Gita so bright, the spark of renewal, igniting the light. Live together. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. So, join the Live to Give campaign. How many of you will participate in this campaign, or how many of you have been participating? Put your hands up and say Hari Bol. Like I said in the beginning, 500 million copies of Bhagavad Gita as it is has been distributed. This year target for Toronto itself is 28,000 Bhagavad Gita. So please, please, please participate in this beautiful campaign. We'll continue with our reading. Hare Krishna. Volunteers who want to help us for packing up prasadam, please come here. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Arjuna inquired, O my Lord, O Supreme Person, what is Brahman? What is the self? What are fruitive activities? What is this material manifestation? And what are the demigods? Please explain this to me. Who is the Lord of sacrifice, and how does he live in the body, O Madhusudan? And how can those engaged in devotional service know you at the time of death? The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, the indestructible, transcendental living entity is called Brahman, and his eternal nature is called Adhyatma, the self. Action pertaining to the development of the material bodies of the living entities is called karma, or fruitive activities. O best of the embodied beings, the physical nature, which is constantly changing, is called Adi Bhuta, the material manifestation. The universal form of the Lord, which includes all the demigods, like those of the sun and the moon, is called Adi Daiva. And I, the Supreme Lord, represented as the super soul in the heart of every embodied being, am called Adi Yagna, the Lord of sacrifice. And whoever at the end of his life quits his body, remembering me alone at once, attains my nature. Of this there is no doubt.
Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, O son of Kunti, that state he will attain without fail. Therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna, and at the same time carry out your prescribed duty of fighting. With your activities dedicated to me, and your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without doubt. He who meditates on me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his mind constantly engaged in remembering me, undeviated from the path, he, O Partha, is sure to reach me. One should meditate upon the Supreme Person as the one who knows everything, as he who is the oldest, who is the controller, who is smaller than the smallest, who is the maintainer of everything, who is beyond all material conception, who is inconceivable, and who is always a person. He is luminous like the sun, and he is transcendental beyond this material nature. One who at the time of death fixes his life hair between the eyebrows and by the strength of yoga, with an undeviating mind, engages himself in remembering the Supreme Lord in full devotion, will certainly attain to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Persons who are learned in the Vedas, who utter Omkara, and who are great sages in the renounced order, enter into Brahman. Desiring such perfection, one practices celibacy. I shall now briefly explain to you this process by which one may attain salvation. The yogi situation is that of detachment from all sensual engagements, closing all the doors of the senses and fixing the mind on the heart and the life air at the top of the head. One establishes himself in yoga. After being situated in this yoga practice and vibrating the sacred syllable Om, the supreme combination of letters, if one thinks of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and quits his body, he will certainly reach the spiritual planets. For one who always remembers me without deviation, I am easy to obtain, O son of Pritha, because of his constant engagement in devotional service. After attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries, because they have attained the highest perfection. From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery, wherein repeated birth and death take place. But one who attains to my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. By human calculation, 1,000 ages taken together form the duration of Brahma's one day, and such also is the duration of his night. At the beginning of Brahma's day, all living entities become manifest from the unmanifested state, and thereafter, when the night falls, they are merged into the unmanifest again. Again and again, when Brahma's day arrives, all living entities come into being, and with the arrival of Brahma's night, they are helplessly annihilated. Yet there is another unmanifest nature, which is eternal, and is transcendental to this manifested and unmanifested matter. It is supreme and is never annihilated. When all in this world is annihilated, that part remains as it is. That which the Vedantists describe as unmanifest and infallible, that which is known as the supreme destination, take place from which, having attained it, one never returns. That is my supreme abode. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is greater than all, is attainable by unalloyed devotion. Although he is present in his abode, he is all-pervading, and everything is situated within him. O best of the Bharatas, I shall now explain to you the different times at which, passing away from this world, the yogi does or does not come back. Those who know the Supreme Brahman attain their Supreme by passing away from the world during the influence of the fiery god in the light at an auspicious moment of the day, during the fortnight of the waxing moon, or during the 6 months when the sun travels in the north. The mystic who passes away from this world during the smoke, the night, the fortnight of the waning moon, or the 6 months when the sun passes to the south, reaches the moon planet, but again comes back. According to Vedic opinion, there are two ways of passing from this world, one in light and one in darkness. When one passes in light, he does not come back, but when one passes in darkness, he returns. Although the devotees know these two paths, O Arjuna, they are never bewildered. Therefore, be always fixed in devotion. A person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft of the results derived from studying the Vedas, performing sacrifices, undergoing austerities, giving charity, or pursuing philosophical and fruitive activities. Simply by performing devotional service, he attains all this, and at the end, he reaches the supreme eternal abode.
Rajvidya Rajguhyam Yoga. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Idam tu te guhyatamam prakshavyam anusuyave jnanam vijnana sahitam yadgyatva moksha se anusubhat Rajvidya Rajguhyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam Pratyaksha Avagamam Dharmyam Susukham Kartum Avyayam Ashiddhana Purusha Dharmasya Asya Parantapa Aprapya Mam Nivartante Mrityu Sansara Vartmani Maya Tatam Idam Sarvam Jagat Avyakta Murtina Matsthani Sarva Bhutani Nachaham Teshu Avastitaha Nacha Matsthani Bhutani Pashyame Yogam Ashwaram Bhuta Bhanna Chat Bhutasto Mamatma Bhuta Bhavanaha Yatha Kashastito Nityam Vayu Sarvatra Gomahan Tatha Sarvani Bhutani Matsthani Tipuradharaya Sarva Bhutani Kaunteya Prakritim Yanti Mamikam Katpakshaye Punastani Kalpado Visjamyaham Prakritim Swamastabhya Visjami Punah Punah Bhutugramam Imam Kritsnam Avasham Prakriter Avashat Nachamam Tani Karmani Nibatnanti Dhananjaya Udasin Avdasinam Asaktam Teshu Karmasu Maya Adhyakshena Prakriti Suyate Sacharacharam Hetunanena Kaunteya Jagat Viparivartate Avajananti Mamudha Manushim Tanum Ashritam Param Bhavam Ajananto Mam Bhuta Maheshwaram Moghasha Mogha Karmano Mogha Jnana Vichetasaha Rakshasim Asurim Chaiva Prakritim Mohinim Shnita Mahatmanastu Mam Partha Daivim Prakritim Ashrita Bhajanti Ananya Manaso Gyatva Bhutadim Avyayam Satatam Kirtayanto Mam Yatantascha Drahvrata Namasyantascha Mam Bhaktya Nityayukta Upasate Jnana Yagyena Chapyanye Yajanto Mam Upasate Ekatvena Prathaktvena Baudha Vishwato Mukham Aham Kratur Aham Yagya Swadaham Aushadham Mantro Aham Ahmevajyam Aham Agnir Aham Hutam Pitaham Asya Jagato Mata Dhata Pitamaha Vedyam Pavitram Onkara Riksam Yajurevacha Gatir Bhartaha Prabhu Sakshi Nivasa Sharanam Surhata Prabhavaha Pralaya Sthanam Bijam Avyayam Tapasyamaham Varsham Nigramyatsu Sadamicha Amritam Chaiva Mrityuscha Sadaptachaham Arjuna Traividya Mam Somapa Puta Puta Papa Yaggairistva Swargatim Prathayante Te Punyam Asadya Surendra Lokam Ashnanti Divyan Divi Deva Bhogan Te Tam Bhuktva Swargalokam Vishalam Chine Punye Martalokam Vishanti Evam Traidharma Anuprapanna Gata Gatam Kam Kama Labhante Ananyasha Chintayanto Mam Jejana Paryupasate Tesham Nitya Abhiyuktanam Yogachemam Vahamyaham Yepi Anya Devata Bhakta Te Shadhyanvita Tepi Mameva Kaunteya Yajanti Avidhipurvakam Aham Sarvajnanam Bhokta Cha Prabhurevacha Natu Mam Abhijananti Tatvena Taha Chavanti Te Yanti Devrata Devan Prittan Yanti Pritravata Bhutani Yanti Bhuteja Yanti Madhyajanopi Mam Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam Yo Me Bhaktya Prayachati Tadaham Bhakti Upratam Ashnami Pretatmana Yat Karoshi Yad Ashnasi Yad Juhoshi Dadasi Yat Yat Tapasyasi Kaunteya Tat Kurishva Mad Arpanam Shubha Shubha Phale Revam Moksha Se Karma Bandhane Sannyasa Yoga Yuktatma Vimukto Mamupashyasi Samoham Sarva Bhuteshu Name Dvesho Asti Napriyaha Ye Bhajanti Tu Mam Bhaktya Maite Teshu Chapyaham Apachet Suduracharo Bhajate Mam Ananya Bhak साधुरेव समन्तव्यः सम्यग् व्यवसतो हि सः क्षिप्रं भवति धर्मात्मा शश्वच्छान्तिं निगच्छति कौन्ते प्रतिजानीहि न मे भक्तः प्रणश्यति मां हि पार्थ विपाश्रित्य ये अपि स्युप्योपयोनियः स्त्रियो वैश्यस्तथा शूद्रास् ते अपि यान्ति परां गतिं किं पुनर्ब्राह्मणः पुण्या भक्ता राजयशतः अनित्यम् असुखं लोकम् इमं प्राप्य भजस्व मां मन्मना भव मद्भक्तो मद्याजी मां नमस्कुरु मामे वैश्यसि युक्तैवम् आत्मानं मत्परायणः.
Chapter 10, The Opulence of the Absolute. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Listen again, O mighty armed Arjuna, because you are my dear friend. For your benefit, I shall speak to you further, giving knowledge that is better than what I have already explained. Neither the hosts of demigod nor the great sages know my origin or opulences. For in every respect I am the source of the demigods and sages. He who knows me as the unborn, as the beginningless, as the supreme Lord of the worlds, he only, undiluted among men, is freed from all sins. Intelligence, knowledge, freedom from doubt and delusion, forgiveness, truthfulness, control of senses, control of the mind, happiness and distress, birth, death, fear, fearlessness, non-violence, equanimity, satisfaction, austerity, charity, fame, and infamy. All these various qualities of living beings are created by me alone. The 7 great sages, and before them, the 4 other great sages, and the Manus, the progenitors of mankind, come from me, born from my mind, and all living entities populating the various planets descend from them. One who is factually convinced of this opulence and mystic power of mine engages in unalloyed devotional service. Of this there is no doubt. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. To show them special mercy, I dwell in their hearts, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. Arjuna said, "You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the greatest sages, such as Narada, Ashishta, Devala, and Vyasa, confirm this truth about you, and now you yourself are declaring to me. O Krishna, I totally accept as the truth all that you have told me. Neither the demigods nor the demons, O Lord, can understand your personality. Indeed, you alone know yourself by your own internal potency. O Supreme Person, origin of all, Lord of all beings, God of gods, Lord of the universe. Please tell me in detail of your divine opulences by which you pervade all these worlds. O Krishna, O Supreme Mystic, how shall I constantly think of you, and how shall I know you? In what various forms are you to be remembered, O Supreme Personality of Godhead? O Janardana, again, please describe in detail the mystic power of your opulences. I am never satiated in hearing about you, for the more I hear, the more I want to taste the nectar of your words." The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Yes, I will tell you of my splendorous manifestations, but only of those who are prominent, O Arjuna, for my opulence is limitless. I am the Super Soul, O Arjuna, seated in the hearts of all living entities. I am the beginning, the middle, and the end of all beings. Of the Adityas, I am Vishnu. Of the lights, I am the radiant sun. Of the Maruts, I am Marichi. And among the stars, I am the moon. Of the Vedas, I am the Samaved. Of the demigods, I am Indra, the king of heaven. Of the senses, I am the mind. And in the living being, I am the living force, consciousness.
Of all the Rudras, I am Lord Shiva. Of the Yakshas and Rakshasas, I am the Lord of wealth, Kuvera. Of the Vasus, I am fire, Agni. And of mountains, I am Meru. Of priests, O Arjuna, know me to be the chief, Brihaspati. Of generals, I am Kartikeya. And of bodies of water, I am the ocean. Of the great sages, I am Bhrigu. Of vibrations, I am the transcendental Om. Of sacrifices, I am the chanting of the holy names, Japa. And of immovable things, I am the Himalayas. Of all the trees, I am the banyan tree. And of the sages among the demigods, I am Narada. Of the Gandharvas, I am Chitrata. And among perfected beings, I am the sage Kapila. Of horses, know me to be Ucheshrava, produced during the churning of the ocean for nectar. Of lordly elephants, I am Airavat. And among men, I am the monarch. Of weapons, I am the thunderbolt. Among cows, I am the Surabhi. Of causes for procreation, I am Kandarpa, the god of love, and of serpents, I am Vasuki. Of the many hooded Nagas, I am Ananta, and among the aquatics, I am the demigod Varuna. Of departed ancestors, I am Aryama, and among the dispensers of law, I am Yama, the lord of death. Among the Daitya demons, I am the devoted Prahlad. Among subduers, I am Time. Among beasts, I am the lion, and among birds, I am Garuda. Of purifiers, I am the wind. Of the wielders of weapons, I am Rama. Of fishes, I am the shark, and of flowing rivers, I am the Ganges. Of all creations, I am the beginning and the end, and also the middle, O Arjuna. Of all sciences, I am the spiritual science of the self, and among logicians, I am the conclusive truth. Of letters, I am the letter A, and among compound words, I am the dual compound. I am also inexhaustible time, and of creators, I am Brahma. I am all devouring death, and I am the generating principle of all that is yet to be. Among women, I am fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience. Of the hymns in the Samaveda, I am the Brihat Sama, and of poetry, I am the Gayatri. Of months, I am Margashirsha, November to December, and of seasons, I am flower-bearing spring. I am also the gambling of cheats, and the splendid, I am the splendor. I am victory, I am adventure, and I am the strength of the strong. Of the descendants of Vrishni, I am Vasudev, and of the Pandavas, I am Arjuna. Of the sages, I am Vyas, and among great thinkers, I am Ushana. Among all means of suppressing lawlessness, I am punishment, and of those who seek victory, I am morality. Of secret things, I am silence, and of the wise, I am the wisdom. Furthermore, O Arjuna, I am the generating seed of all existences. There is no being, moving or non-moving, that can exist without me. O mighty conqueror of enemies, there is no end to my divine manifestations. What I have spoken to you is but a mere indication of my infinite opulences. Know that all opulent, beautiful, and glorious creations spring from but a spark of my splendor. But what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe.
अतः एकादशोऽध्यायः विश्वरूपदर्शनयोगः अर्जुन उवाच मद अनुग्रहाय परमं गुह्यम् अध्यात्मसंज्ञितं यत्त्वयोक्तं वचस्तेन मोहयं विगतो मम भवाप्ययौ हि भूतानां श्रुतो विस्तरशो मया त्वतः कमलपत्राक्ष महात्म्यम् अपि चाव्ययम् एवम् एतद् यथात्वम् आत्मानं परमेश्वर द्रष्टुम् इच्छामि ते रूपम् ऐश्वरं पुरुषोत्तम मन्यसे यदि तच्चख्यं मया द्रष्टुम् इति प्रभो योगेश्वरो ततो मे त्वं दर्शयात्मानमव्ययम् श्रीभगवानुवाच पश्य मे पार्थरूपाणि शतशोऽथसहस्रशः नानाविधानि दिव्यानि नानावक्रान्कृतीनि च पश्यादित्यान् वसून् रुद्रान् अश्विनौ मरुतस्तथा बहून्यदृष्टपूर्वाणि पश्याश्चर्याणि भारत इहैकस्थं जगत्कृत्स्नं पश्याद्य सचराचरं मम देहे गुडाकेश यच्चान्यद्द्रष्टुमिच्छसि न तु मां साक्ष्यसे द्रष्टुम् अनेनैव स्वचक्षुषा दिव्यं ददामि ते चक्षुः पश्य मे योगमैश्वरम् सञ्जय उवाच एवं मुक्त्वा ततो राजन् महायोगेश्वरो हरिः दर्शयामास पार्थाय परमं रूपमैश्वरम् अनेकवक्त्रनयनम् अनेकाद्भुतदर्शनम् अनेकदिव्याभरणं दिव्यानेकोद्यतात्युधं दिव्यमालाम्बरधरं दिव्यगन्धानुलेपनं सर्वाश्चर्यमयं देवम् अनन्तं विश्वतोमुखं दिवि सूर्यसहस्रस्य भवेद्युगपदुत्थिता यदि भासदृशी सा स्यात् भासस्तस्य महात्मनः तत्रैकस्थं जगत्कृत्स्नं प्रविभक्तम् अनेकदा अपश्यद्देवदेवस्य शरीरे पाण्डवस्तदा ततः स विस्मयाविष्टो हृष्टरोमा धनञ्जयः प्रणम्य शिरसा देवं कृताञ्जलिरभाषत अर्जुन उवाच पश्यामि देवांस्तव देवदेहे सर्वांस्तथा भूतविशेषसङ्घान् ब्रह्मानमीशं कमलासनास्थं ऋषींश्च सर्वान् उरगांश्च दिव्यान् अनेकबाहुदरवक्त्रनेत्रं पश्यामि तां सर्वतोऽनन्तरूपं नान्तं न मध्यं न पुनस्तवादिं पश्यामि विश्वेश्वर विश्वरूप किरीटिनं गदिनं चक्रिणं च तेजोराशिं सर्वतो दीप्तिमन्तं पश्यामि त्वां दुर्निरीक्ष्यं समन्तात् दीप्तानलार्कद्युतिमप्रमेयं त्वम् अक्षरं परमं वेदितव्यं त्वमस्य विश्वस्य परं निधानं त्वम् अव्ययः शाश्वतधर्मगोप्ता सनातनस्त्वं पुरुषो मतो मे अनादिमध्यान्तम् अनन्तवीर्यम् अनन्तबाहुं शशिसूर्यनेत्रं पश्यामि त्वां दीप्तहुताशवक्त्रं स्वतेजसा विश्वमिदं तपन्तं द्या वा पृथिव्योरिदमन्तरं हि व्याप्तं त्वयैकेन दिशश्च सर्वः दृष्ट्वाद्भुतं रूपमुग्रं तवेदं लोकत्रयं प्रव्यथितं महात्मन् अमीहि त्वां सुरसङ्गा विशन्ति केचिद्भिदा प्राञ्जलयो गृह्णन्ति स्वातिस्तुक्त्वा महर्षिसिद्धसङ्गः स्तुवन्ति त्वां स्तुतिभिः पुष्कलाभिः रुद्रादित्य वस्वसो ये साध्या विष्णो मरुतश्चोष्मपाश्च गन्धर्वयक्षासुरसिद्धसङ्गा वीक्षन्ति त्वां विस्मितश्चैव सर्वे रूपं महत्ते बहुवक्त्रनेत्रं महाबाहो बहुबहारुपादं बाहुदरं बहुदंष्ट्रकरालं दृष्ट्वा लोकाः प्रवयतस्तथाहं नभः स्पृशं दीप्तम् अनेकवर्णं व्यात्ताननं दीप्तविशालनेत्रं दृष्ट्वा हि त्वां प्रव्यथितान्तरात्मा धृतिं न विन्दामि श्रमः विष्णो दंष्ट्राकरालानि च ते मुखानि दृष्ट्वैव कालानलसन्निभानि दिशो न जाने न लभे च शर्म प्रसीद देवेश जगन्निवास अमी च त्वां धृतराष्ट्रस्य पुत्रः सर्वे सहैवावनिपालसंज्ञः भीष्मो द्रोणः सुतपुत्र तथासौ सहास्मदीयैरपि योधमुख्यः वक्त्राणि ते त्वरमणा विशन्ति दंष्ट्राकरालानि भयानकानि केचित् विलग्ना दशन्तान्तरेषु सन्दृश्यन्ते चूर्णितैरुत्तमाङ्गैः
यथा नदीनां बहवोऽम्बुवेगा समुद्रमेवाभिमुखा द्रवन्ति तथा तवावली नरलोकवीरा विशन्ति वक्त्राण्यभिविज्वलन्ति यथा प्रदीप्तं ज्वलनं पतङ्गा विशन्ति नाशाय समृद्धवेगा तथैव नाशाय विशन्ति लोकास्तवापि वक्त्राणि समृद्धवेगाः लेह्यसे ग्रसमानः समन्तात् लोकाः समग्रान् वदने ज्वलन्ति तेजोभिरापूर्य जगत्समग्रं भासस्तवोग्रा प्रतपन्ति विष्णो आख्याहि मे को भवानुग्ररूपो नमोऽस्तु ते देववर प्रसीद विज्ञातमिच्छामि भवन्तमाद्यं न हि प्रजानामि तव प्रवृत्तिं श्रीभगवानुवाच कालोऽस्मि लोकाक्षयकृत् प्रवृद्धो लोकान् समाहर्तुमिह प्रवृत्ता हृदे त्वां न भविष्यन्ति सर्वे येव स्थिता प्रत्यनिकेषु योधा तस्मात् त्वमुत्तिष्ठ यशो लभस्व जित्वा शत्रून् भुङ्क्ष्व राज्यं समृद्धम् मयैवैते यथा पूर्वमेव निमित्तमात्रं भव सव्यसाचिन् द्रोणं च भीष्मं च जयद्रथं च कर्णं तथान्यानपि योधवीरान् मया हतां स्वां जहिमा व्यतिष्ठ युध्यस्व जेतासि रणे सपत्नान् सञ्जय उवाच एतत् श्रुत्वा वचनं केशवस्य कृताञ्जलिर्वेपमानः किरीटी नमस्कृत्वा भूय एवाह कृष्णं सगद्गदं भीतभीतं प्रणम्य अर्जुन उवाच स्थाने ऋषिकेश तव प्रकृत्या जगत्प्रहृष्यत्यनुरज्यते च रक्षांसि भीतानि दिशो द्रवन्ति सर्वे नमस्यन्ति च सिद्धसङ्गाः कस्माच्च तेन न मेरन्महात्मन् गरीयसे ब्रह्मणोऽप्यादिकर्त्रे अनन्तदेवेश जगन्निवास त्वमक्षरं सदसात्तत्परं यत् त्वमादिदेवा पुरुषः पुराणस्त्वमस्य विश्वस्य परं निधानम् वेदासि वेद्यं च परं च धाम त्वया ततं विश्वमनन्तरूपम् वायुः दृष्टोऽस्मि दृष्ट